The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was enormous, its ceiling stretched so high that clouds formed near the top. Thousands of alien species filled the seats, their bodies in every shape and color imaginable. Some had wings, others had tentacles, and many looked like nothing Captain Tamman Kim had ever seen before. Tamman stood quietly beside Ambassador Nari Park. He wore his Earth military uniform, clean and pressed. His job was simple: protect the ambassador and observe everything. He had done this job for 3 years now. But today felt different. Today felt dangerous. Nari walked to the center platform. She was a small woman, barely 5 feet tall, but she carried herself like a giant. Her black hair was tied back neatly. Her face showed no fear, even though every alien in the room was staring at her. Honored members of the Galactic Council, Nari began. Her voice was calm and clear. Earth comes before you today with a simple request. We wish to trade for advanced technology. We also wish to form a military alliance with the Council. A sound filled the hall. It took time and a moment to realize what it was. Laughter. The aliens were laughing at them. A massive creature rose from the highest seat. It looked like a giant insect standing 12 feet tall. Its body was covered in dark purple armor. Forearms ended in sharp claws. Its eyes glowed red. This was Regent Vakral, leader of the Veltran Empire. The Veltran controlled half the galaxy. Humans, Vakral said. His voice sounded like grinding metal. You come here asking for our technology? You who still use primitive chemical rockets? You who have not even left your own star system? More laughter filled the hall. Tamman felt his jaw tighten. He wanted to speak, to defend his people, but that was not his place. He had to stay silent. We have advanced beyond your understanding, Nari said calmly. Our stealth technology alone. Stealth technology? Vakral interrupted. Laughter grew louder. Yes, we have seen your so-called stealth ships. They are like children hiding under blankets. We can see them easily. Your technology is a joke. A blue-skinned alien from the left side of the hall spoke up. Humans are primitive. They fight among themselves. They pollute their own world. Why should we help them? Another alien, this one covered in green scales, added. They have nothing to offer us. They are weak. Their ships are toys compared to ours. Nari stood perfectly still. Tamman could see her hands, though they were clenched into fists. She was angry, but she did not show it on her face. Perhaps, Nari said slowly, you should reconsider your assessment of human capabilities. Vakral made a sound that might have been a laugh. Oh, and why is that, little human? What could you possibly do to change our minds? We came here in peace. Nari said. We asked politely. We showed respect, but you have given us none in return. Respect? Vakral clicked his mandibles together. Respect is earned, not given. You have earned nothing. Your entire species has achieved nothing worth noting. The regent moved closer to the platform. He towered over Nari. I will make you an offer, human. The Veltran Empire will accept Earth as a protectorate. You will give us access to your world. You will serve us. In return, we will protect you from the dangers of the galaxy. You mean you want us to be your slaves? Nari said flatly. We prefer the term protected species. Vakral said, but call it what you wish. You have no other choice. Your military is weak. Your technology is primitive. You cannot survive out here alone. Tamman watched the other aliens in the Some looked uncomfortable, most looked amused, a few looked hungry like sharks circling prey. Earth had no friends here. Nari was silent for a long moment, then she spoke. We decline your offer. The hall went quiet. Vakril and LT Unk and GT's eyes blazed brighter. You decline, you foolish creature, do you understand what you are refusing? I understand perfectly, Nari said. You are offering slavery. Earth will never accept slavery, then Earth will stand alone, Vakril declared, and when your enemies come, and they will come, do not expect help from this council. You will face the darkness of space with your toy ships and your primitive weapons. You will fail. You will beg us to save you. And perhaps we will, or perhaps we will simply take what we want from your ashes. The threat was clear. Taman's hand moved toward his sidearm, but Nari gave him a tiny shake of her head. Not now. You have made your position clear, Nari said. Let me make ours equally clear. You have underestimated humanity. Today, you have mocked us. You have threatened us. These are mistakes you will regret. Vakril laughed again. Threats from you. What will you do? Human, send your primitive ships against us. We could destroy your entire world with a single fleet, perhaps, Nari said. She turned to leave, then stopped. She looked back at Vakril. But perhaps you should ask yourself a question, Regent. If our technology is so primitive, if we are so weak and foolish, then why did you bother to threaten us at all? She did not wait for an answer. She walked away from the platform, her back straight, her head high. Taman followed her. Behind them, the laughter started again, but this time it sounded forced. Nervous, they walked through the long corridors of the council building in silence. Only when they reached their ship did Nari finally speak. Send a message to Admiral Hun Wu, she said quietly. Tell him they rejected our offer. Tell him they made threats, and tell him. She paused. Tell him to begin Operation Silent Thunder. Taman felt a chill run down his spine. He had heard whispers about Silent Thunder. Every military officer had. No one knew what it really meant. It was the most classified project in Earth's history. Are you sure, Ambassador? He asked. Mary looked at him. Her eyes were hard. They had their chance for peace. They chose war. Now they will learn what humanity is truly capable of. Taman sent the message as their ship lifted off from the council world. He looked back at the great building below. It looked so powerful, so permanent. But he could not shake a feeling that everything was about to change. The aliens thought they knew humanity. They thought humans were weak, primitive, and foolish. They had made their judgments based on what they could see, but they had never asked themselves what they could not see, and that, Taman thought, was their first mistake. The station called Olympus Forge floated in the darkness between stars. No map showed its location. No public records mentioned its existence. It was Earth's greatest secret, hidden in a place where no one would think to look. Admiral Hyan Wu Choi stood in the observation deck, staring at the massive ship in the construction bay. Even after 3 years of watching it being built, the sight still took his breath away. The ship was beautiful and terrible at the same time. She's ready, Admiral, said a voice behind him. Hyan Wu turned. Dr. Hwan Lee walked toward him carrying a data pad. She looked tired. She had been working 18-hour days for months. Her hair was messy, and she had dark circles under her eyes, but she was smiling. All systems check out, Hyan Wu asked. Better than expected, Han said. The cloak is perfect, I mean truly perfect. We ran every test we could think of. Sensor sweeps, thermal imaging, gravitational detection, even quantum. Field scanning, nothing. The ship is completely invisible when the cloak is active. Yan Wu nodded slowly. And you are certain the aliens cannot detect it? I would bet my life on it, Huan said. Then she laughed. Actually, I already did. We all did. Admiral, what we have created here, it is not just better than alien technology. It is completely different. They approached stealth by bending light, by hiding energy signatures. We approached it differently. Explain it to me again, Han Wu said. In simple terms, Huan set down her data pad. The aliens think of stealth as hiding. We thought of it as not existing, at least not existing in a way that can be observed. We manipulate quantum states. When the cloak is active, the ship exists in a state where it cannot be observed. It is not invisible, it is unobservable. Do you see the difference? Not really, Han Wu admitted. Huan smiled. Think of it this way. The alien stealth makes a ship hard to see. Our stealth makes the universe forget the ship is there at all. Their sensors do not see an empty space where a ship should be. They see space that truly is empty, because in that moment, in that quantum state, the ship is not interacting with normal space-time. That sounds like science fiction, Yan Wu said. It was until we made it real. Huan looked at the ship. We got the idea from a crashed alien probe 15 years ago, but we took it in directions they never imagined. Humans have always been good at taking other people's ideas and improving them. The door opened. Commander Jawan Park entered, followed by Lieutenant Yuna Song. Jawan was young for a commander, only 35, but he was the best pilot Earth had ever produced. Yuna was even younger, but she understood weapon systems better than anyone alive. Admiral Jawan said, saluting. We received your message. The crew is ready. Good, Yan Wu said. He pressed a button on the wall. A holographic display appeared showing a star map. Intelligence reports indicate the Veltran Empire is preparing to attack our colonies. They plan to hit 3 worlds simultaneously: New Seoul, Armstrong Station, and the mining colony on Kepler 442b. When Yuna asked within the month, Han Wu said possibly sooner. The council meeting confirmed their intentions. They see us as weak. They think they can take what they want without consequences. They are wrong, Huan said quietly. Yes, Han Wu agreed, but we need to prove it. Commander Park, you and your crew will take the E's retribution into Veltran space. Your mission is to demonstrate that humanity is not defenseless. Jan studied the star map. A show of force. More than that, Han Wu said. I want you to make them understand that their assumptions about us were completely wrong. I want you to make them afraid. Huan spoke up. Admiral, the retribution is powerful, but it is still just one ship. The Veltran have hundreds of warships, thousands probably. One ship is all we need, Han Wu said. If that ship can go anywhere, see anything, and strike without warning, tell me, Doctor, what is more frightening, a large army you can see coming, or a single ghost that could be anywhere? Understanding dawned on Huan and LT Unk and GT's face. You are going to use psychological warfare. I am going to teach them a lesson, Han Wu said. The same lesson humanity has taught its enemies throughout history. Do not mistake patience for weakness. Do not mistake peace for inability to weigh war. Yuna looked at the massive ship. Through the window, she is beautiful. km long, crew of 800, weapons capable of destroying a small moon and completely invisible. The Velron have never seen anything like her. No one has, J1 said. When do we leave? Tomorrow morning. Yan Wu said, your crew is already aboard making final preparations. You will have complete operational freedom. Your only order is this: make humanity's point clearly. What point is that, sir? Jaewon asked. Hyan Wu looked at each of them in turn. That we asked nicely once. We will not ask again. Later that night, Jan walked through the Retribution's corridors. The ship hummed with quiet power. Everything was new, clean, and perfectly designed. This was not like the old military vessels he had trained on. This was something completely different. He entered the bridge. Officers sat at their stations checking systems, running diagnostics. They all looked up when he entered. They were young, most of them. The oldest was 42. The youngest was 23. They had been chosen carefully, not just for their skills, but for their ability to think creatively, to adapt, to do what needed to be done. Captain on the bridge. Someone called. Jaewon waved them down. As you were status report, a woman stood from the tactical station. Lieutenant C. Wuhan, sir. All weapon systems are green. Kinetic rail guns charged and ready. Plasma cannons online. Miss Bays loaded. Point defense systems active. Good, J1 said. He turned to another officer. Navigation Commander Borishin, sir. We have the course plotted to Velen space. 3 days at maximum speed. The cloak will be active the entire journey. J1 nodded. He walked to the captain's chair and sat down slowly. It felt right. This ship, this crew, this moment, everything felt like it was meant to be. I know you have all heard the rumors, he said. You know what they said about us, about humanity. They called us primitive. They called our technology toys. They laughed at us. Bridge was silent. Every eye was on him. They think they know us, J1 continued. They have studied our public transmissions. They have seen our commercial ships. They have observed our colonies, and based on what they saw, they concluded we were weak. He stood up, but they never asked themselves what they had not seen. They never wondered what we might be keeping secret. They never considered that a species that survived ice ages, world wars, and nuclear weapons might have learned a thing or two about survival. Siwoo smiled. Bora sat straighter in her chair. Around the bridge, John could see the change in his crew. They were ready. Tomorrow, Juwon said, we are going to show the Velens something they have never seen before. We are going to show them what happens when humanity stops being polite. We are going to remind them that Earth did not become the dominant species on our world by being weak. He sat back down. But we are going to do it the human way. We are going to be smart. We are going to be patient, and we are going to be absolutely merciless when the time comes. Through the window, Olympus Forge slowly rotated. In the distance, stars shone like distant fires. Somewhere out there, the Velruin Empire was preparing for war. They thought they were preparing to crush a weak enemy. They had no idea what was coming for them. The E's Retribution moved through space like a ghost. No sensors could detect her. No eyes could see her. She was a shadow among shadows, invisible and silent. Captain John Park sat in his command chair watching the main display. It showed the Velron invasion fleet ahead. 47 warships, each one massive and heavily armed. They were heading toward human space, toward Earth's colonies, toward innocent people who had never done anything to deserve this. They are broadcasting on open channels, said Lieutenant Gunn from the communication station. Do you want to hear it? Put it on, Juin said. A voice filled the bridge. It was Veltron speaking through a translator. The words were harsh and cruel. Attention, primitive species called humans. This is Fleet Commander Zelto of the Velrun Empire. We are coming to your colonies. We will take them. We will take your resources. We will take your people. You refused our generous offer of protection. Now you will learn what happens to those who defy the Velen Empire. The message continued. Your toy ships cannot stop us. Your primitive weapons cannot harm us. In 3 days we will reach your first colony. New Sol will be ours, and then we will take the rest. This is not war. This is pest control. Laughter came through the transmission. Multiple voices, all laughing, all mocking humanity. J1 felt his jaw tighten. Around the bridge, his crew sat in angry silence. They had been following this fleet for 2 days now, listening to their communications, hearing their jokes, their insults, their complete and absolute confidence. Sir, said Commander Bo Ration from the first officer station, we could destroy them right now, all of them. They would never see it coming. J1 shook his head. No. Destroying this fleet would only make them send a bigger one. We need to think bigger. He stood and walked to the tactical display. The map showed the Veltran Empire, hundreds of star systems, dozens of major worlds, and at the center, glowing brightly on the display, was Prime, the Velran home world, their capital, the heart of their empire. How far are we from Prime? J1 asked. Tactical officer Sohan checked his console. 18 hours at maximum speed. And the fleet, how long until they reach New Sol? 72 hours, Sewu said. Bora stood up. Captain, are you thinking what I think you are thinking? J1 smiled. Fleet is their sword, but what happens if we put a knife to their throat? What happens if we show them that while they are attacking our colonies, we are standing over their capital? They would panic. Siu said they would recall the fleet. More than that, Juin said they would understand that they cannot protect their own people while attacking ours. They would understand that we can reach them anywhere at any time without warning. Ju spoke up. Sir, this is a huge risk. If something goes wrong, if the cloak fails, we would be alone in the heart of enemy space, surrounded by their military. The cloak will not fail, Jaewon said confidently. Dr. Hwan built it. It is perfect. He turned to Bora. Commander informed the crew. We are changing course. Set a course for Velar. Prime maximum speed. Yes, sir, Bora said. She was smiling now, a cold, dangerous smile. The Retribution turned away from the invasion fleet. Her engines, silent and invisible like the rest of the ship, pushed her to incredible speed. She flew through space like a knife through water, fast, quiet, deadly. 18 hours later they arrived. Velar Prime filled the main display. It was a beautiful world. Purple clouds swirled in the atmosphere. 3 moons orbited nearby. The planet glowed with lights from millions of cities. Billions of Veltran lived there, going about their daily lives. They felt safe, protected. They were the masters of the galaxy. Nothing could touch them. Take Us into orbit, J-Wan ordered, 200 km up. Directly above their capital city, the Retribution slid into position. The main display showed the capital below. It was enormous. Towers reached toward the sky. Millions of Veltran moved through the streets. Government buildings stood at the center, massive and proud. We are in position, Bora said. Still cloaked? No indication they detected us. J-Wan looked at the planet below, at the people who had no idea what floated above them, at the government that had insulted humanity, at the empire that thought it could take whatever it wanted. Si Wu, he said quietly, target all major military installations, orbital defense platforms, shipyards, military headquarters, everything. Seiu's fingers flew across his console. Targets acquired and locked, weapons ready. Do not fire, J1 said. Not yet, but be ready. He turned to Jia. Open a channel to Admiral Haiyan Wu. Encrypted burst transmission. Use the quantum relay. Channel open, sir, Admiral, J-Wan said. This is Retribution. We are in position above Velar Prime. The invasion fleet is still 72 hours from our colonies. Request permission to proceed with the demonstration. There was a pause, then Admiral Hin Wu and LT Unk and GT's voice came through. Clear and strong. Permission granted. Captain, show them what humanity can do. But J1, try not to start a war we cannot win. Understood, sir. Retribution out. J1 sat back in his chair. Now we wait. She's monitor all Veltran communications. I want to know the moment they realize what is about to happen. Yes, sir. Hours passed. The crew stayed at their stations watching, waiting. Below them, Velter Prime turned. Slowly, day became night, became day. Again, the Velrin went about their business, never knowing that a human warship hung above them like a sword. Then Jia spoke. Sir, I am receiving a message. It is Ambassador Nari Park. She is requesting an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Put it on screen. Juan said. The display changed. It showed Nari standing before the Galactic Council, the same place where they had humiliated her days before. She looked calm, confident. Honored members of the Council, Nari said, I have returned to discuss the Veltran Empire's invasion of human space. They have sent 47 warships to attack our colonies. They broadcast threats. They promise destruction. Regent Vakral's voice came through. This is not your concern, human. Your colonies refused our protection. Now they will pay the price. This council will not intervene. I am not asking you to intervene. Naughty said, I am here to give you a demonstration. I am here to show you why humanity does not need your protection. Why we never did. This should be entertaining, Vakral said. Juwan could hear the mockery in his voice. What will you show us? Your primitive chemical rockets, your toy soldiers. Nuri smiled. It was not a friendly smile. No, Regent, I am going to show you our battleship, the one that is currently floating above your capital city, the one your sensors never detected, the one that has been there for the last 6 hours. Silence, absolute silence. You are lying, Vakral said, but his voice was uncertain now. Captain Park, Nari said, speaking directly to the camera. Show them. Juwan took a deep breath. This was the moment. Everything came down to this. Deactivate the cloak, he ordered. Seiyu pressed a button. Cloak offline. For 6 hours the Retribution had been invisible. For 6 hours she had hung above Prime like a ghost. Now Suddenly she was real. 3 km of warship appeared in the sky above the capital. Massive, armed, powerful, and completely impossibly there, on the planet below. Alarms started screaming. Panic spread through Velar Prime like wildfire. The massive human battleship hung in the sky above the capital, visible to everyone. 3 km of metal and weapons floating there like a promise of destruction. Captain Jaywin Park watched the chaos below through the retribution sensors. People ran through the streets. Air vehicles crashed into each other. Military units scrambled, not knowing what to do. Their entire world had just learned what it felt like to be vulnerable. All Velrun military frequencies are going crazy, Lieutenant Jae Yun reported. They are demanding to know how we got here. They are asking why their sensors did not detect us. Some are calling it impossible. Open a channel. Jaywin said all frequencies. I want everyone to hear this. The council, the Velan government, the people on that planet below, everyone channel open. Sir. Jaywin stood up. He straightened his uniform. When he spoke, his voice was calm and clear, not angry, not threatening, just stating facts. This is Captain John Park of the Earthship Retribution. We are currently in orbit above Velar Prime. Your capital city is 200 km below us. We have been here for 6 hours. Your sensors never detected us. Your defenses never saw us coming. He paused. Let that sink in. You called us primitive. You called our technology toys. You laughed at us. You sent an invasion fleet to attack our colonies. You thought we were weak. You were wrong. On the council display, Juan could see Regent Vakral. The alien's red eyes were wide. His mandibles clicked together rapidly. He was afraid. Good. This ship, J1 continued, has enough weapons to destroy every military installation on your planet. We could turn your orbital defenses into debris. We could reduce your shipyards to scrap metal. We could do all of this before your fleet and dock could even launch. Tactical Officer Sai Wuhan spoke quietly. Sir, their orbital defense platforms are powering up. They are targeting us. Let them, J1 said. He kept speaking. But we will not do that. We did not come here to kill. We came here to teach you a lesson, to show you what happens when you underestimate humanity. Fire! Someone on the Veltran military channel screamed. Fire everything. The orbital platforms opened fire. Energy, weapons, missiles, kinetic rounds. Everything they had, the space around the Retribution lit up with explosions and weapons fire. The crew watched calmly. The ship's shields absorbed every hit without effort, not even a flicker. Their weapons are not even scratching our shields, Siwu reported. J1 smiled coldly. Show them what we can do. Target their 3 nearest military satellites. Disable them. Do not destroy. Disable. Yes, sir. Retribution's point defense lasers fired 3 precise shots. 3 satellites went dark. Their systems fried, but their structures intact. Message was clear. We can hit exactly what we want when we want. The Veltran weapons fire stopped. They understood. Now they could not hurt this ship, but this ship could hurt them very, very easily. Now J1 said, I am going to make you an offer, the same kind of offer you made to us. You will order your invasion fleet to turn around immediately. You will abandon your attack on human colonies. You will pay reparations for the threats you made, and you will recognize Earth as a sovereign power with full rights in the Galactic Council. Never Vakril and LT Unk and GT's voice came through. You cannot make demands of the Veltran Empire. We are the masters of this galaxy. Are you? J1 asked. Then why is a human ship floating above your capital? Why could you not see us coming? Why can you not harm us? Why can we destroy your defenses with such ease? No answer came. You have 1 hour to comply, J1 said. If you refuse, I will begin systematically dismantling your orbital military infrastructure. I will do it slowly, piece by piece, and the entire galaxy will watch as the mighty Velron Empire proves unable to defend its own home world. He nodded to Gia. She cut the transmission. Captain, Commander Borashin said quietly, they will refuse. Pride will not let them surrender so easily. I know, J1 said. And that is exactly what I am counting on. 40 minutes passed. The crew waited. Intense silence. Below them, the Velen military scrambled. Ships in the orbital docks tried to launch, but they were not ready. It would take hours to get them into space, hours they did not have. Then, as J1 expected, Vakril and LT Unk and GT voice came through. You are bluffing. Human, you would not dare attack our home world. That would mean war with the entire Velen Empire. Your one ship, no matter how advanced, cannot stand against our thousands. John looked at his crew. They looked back at him. They knew what came next. You think I am bluffing? J1 said softly. Then let me show you how serious humanity is. He turned to Siwu. Begin the demonstration. Target all orbital military installations, shipyards, defense platforms, weapons, satellites, military communications. Erase everything. Disable them all. With pleasure, sir. The Retribution went to work. Her weapons fired with precision that bordered on artistic. Railgun rounds punched through defense platforms, destroying their weapons, but leaving their life support intact. Lasers fried satellite systems without causing explosions. Missiles took out shipyard construction equipment while leaving the ships themselves untouched. It was not a battle, it was a dismantling, a surgical removal of an entire planet's orbital defenses, and the Retribution did it all in 8 minutes. 8 minutes to render the Velron home world defenseless. When it was done, Juan spoke again. That was every military installation in orbit around your planet. All of them are now disabled, not destroyed. Disabled. Your people are alive. Civilian infrastructure is untouched. But your military capability is gone. He let that statement hang in the air. This is what humanity can do, J1 said. This is what we chose not to do when you first insulted us. We gave you a chance for peace. You chose war, so now you see what we are capable of. On the council broadcast, aliens were speaking. All at once, shocked, afraid, amazed. One human ship had done what should have been impossible. Captain Park. Ambassador Neri's voice came through. The invasion fleet has turned around. They are returning to Veltron space at maximum speed. Good, Juan said. Then our message is clear. Vakril's voice came through one more time, but it was different now. The mockery was gone. The confidence was gone. What remained was defeat. What are your terms? J1 sat down in his captain's chair, the same as before. Recognize Earth as a sovereign power. Grant us full council rights, pay reparations, and most importantly, never threaten humanity again. And if we refuse, John smiled, then we will demonstrate what the Retribution can do to surface targets. And Regent Vakril We will start with your palace. There was a long pause. We accept your terms. The bridge erupted in cheers. The crew hugged each other, laughed, celebrated. They had done it. One ship, 800 people, against an empire that controlled half the galaxy, and they had won. J1 let them celebrate for a moment, then he raised his hand. The bridge fell silent. Well done, he said, all of you, but our work is not finished. Ya, send a message to Admiral Hyan Wu. Tell him Operation Silent Thunder is a success. The Veltran have surrendered. Yes, sir. Bora approached him. Captain, what happens now? Jaywin looked at the planet below, at the disabled satellites floating around it, at the Veltran people who were learning a hard lesson about underestimating others. Now he said, we go home. We let the council do their work. We let the explain to their people how one human ship did what they said was impossible, and we let the rest of the galaxy wonder what else humanity has been hiding. He smiled, and then we introduced them to the retribution. Sister Hips, the E's retribution activated her cloak. In seconds she vanished from sensors. The massive warship that had hung above Velar Prime like a sword simply ceased to exist, but everyone knew she was still there, still watching, still waiting, and that Captain Jaywin Park thought was the most powerful message of all. The Galactic Council chamber was different this time. When Ambassador Nari Park entered, aliens stood up, some bowed, others moved aside to let her pass. The mockery was gone, the laughter was gone. In their place was something humanity had never seen from them before: respect. Nari walked to the central platform. Captain Tam and Kim followed her just as he had before, but this time he stood taller, his uniform seemed brighter. He was no longer guarding a diplomat from a weak species. He was guarding a representative of a power that had just shocked the galaxy. The Council recognizes Ambassador Nari Park of Earth, the Council speaker announced. He was a tall, blue-skinned alien who had barely acknowledged her last time. Now he spoke her name with careful pronunciation. Thank you, Nari said. She looked around the chamber. Every seat was filled. Species from across the galaxy had come to see this. I believe we have some unfinished business to discuss. Regent Vakral sat in his high seat. He looked smaller somehow. His red eyes were dimmer. He had not spoken since agreeing to Earth's terms 3 days ago. The Veltran Empire has agreed to Earth's terms, the speaker said. Full council membership, technology, trading rights, military alliance options, and reparations for the attempted invasion. Good, Nari said simply. A green-scaled alien stood up. It was the same one who had called humans primitive before. Ambassador Park, the council must know. How long has Earth possessed this technology, this perfect cloaking system? Nari smiled. Long enough. That is not an answer, the alien insisted. It is the only answer you need, Nari replied. You dismissed our technology because you thought you understood it. You never asked questions. You never showed interest. You simply assumed we were inferior. Another alien spoke up. This one had tentacles and multiple eyes. The ship we saw, the retribution. How many more does Earth have? Enough, Nari said again. Ambassador, please, the speaker said. The council needs to understand Earth's military capabilities for security purposes, for planning, for knowing whether you can still control us. Nari interrupted. The answer is no. You Cannot. Earth is not asking for permission anymore. We are not asking for approval. We are here as equals. Accept it or do not. The choice is yours. The chamber fell silent. It was the kind of statement that would have caused outrage a week ago. Now no one dared to object. Vakral finally spoke. His voice was quiet, defeated. What does Earth want from this council? Nari looked at him. What we always wanted. Trade, cooperation, peace. We came here asking nicely. You refused. You threatened us. You forced us to show our strength, but our goals have not changed. We still want peace, but now you know the price of denying it. She turned to address the entire council. Earth will share technology with those who treat us as partners. We will form alliances with those who respect us. We will help protect those who cannot protect themselves, but we will never again be mocked. We will never again be dismissed. And we will never again be threatened. A small alien in the back spoke up. Some of us voted to give Earth membership before. Some of us wanted to help. Will Earth remember its friends? Nari's expression softened. Yes, Earth has a long memory. We remember our friends and we remember our enemies. The emergency session ended. Treaties were signed. Agreements were made. Earth officially became a full member of the Galactic Council with all rights and privileges. Technology exchanges were arranged. Trade routes were opened. Everything happened quickly, smoothly. Like everyone wanted to move past the embarrassment of what had happened. Later, Nari stood on the observation deck of the council station. Tammin joined her. How do you feel? He asked. Tired, Nari admitted. This was not how I wanted it to happen. I wanted them to accept us because they saw our potential. Instead, they accept us because they fear our power. Is there a difference? Tammin asked. Yes, Nari said. One builds friendship, the other builds resentment, but we work with what we have. Back on Earth in the secret station called Olympus Forge, Admiral Hun Wu Choi stood before the media. It was the first time most humans had heard about Project Phantom, the first time they learned about the retribution, the first time they understood what their government had been building for 15 years. Hyun Woo said to the cameras, humanity has been preparing not for conquest, not for empire, but for survival. We knew the galaxy was dangerous. We knew we needed to be strong, so we became strong. Quietly, secretly, patiently, Dr. Hwan Lee stood beside him. She looked nervous in front of so many cameras, but her voice was clear when she spoke. The technology behind the retribution represents humanity's greatest achievement. We took ideas from across the galaxy and improved them. We thought differently. We innovated, and we succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. A reporter asked, how many ships like the Retribution does Earth have? Han smiled. Retribution is not alone. Can you be more specific? No, Hyun Woo said firmly. That information remains classified, but I will say this: any species that threatens Earth will find themselves facing more than one ship, much more in space, far from any inhabited system. 6 massive battleships floated in formation. They were all identical to the Retribution, 3 km long, heavily armed, perfectly cloaked. They had been completed months ago, waiting for the day they might be needed. Commander Jaewon Park, now promoted to captain of the fleet, stood on the bridge of the Retribution. Around him, floating in perfect Formation were the E's vengeance, the E's. Defiance, the E's resolute, the E's. Indomitable, the E's sentinel and the E's. Guardian. 7 ships, 7 perfect cloaked. Battleships, 7 promises that humanity would never be defenseless. Again, all ships report ready, Bora said. From the communication station, she was now his second in command for the entire fleet. Good, Jawan said. Activate cloaks, disperse to assign patrol zones. Remember, we are not conquerors. We are guardians. We protect Earth and her allies. We watch for threats, and if threats emerge, we eliminate them. Yes, sir, came 7 responses from 7 different ships. One by one, the battleships vanished. They spread out across the galaxy, invisible guardians, watching over humanity's interests. No one knew where they were. No sensors could track them. They were ghosts in the darkness, waiting on Velar Prime. The Velton worked to repair their orbital defenses, but things had changed. People looked up at the sky differently now. They remembered the day a human ship had appeared above their capital. They remembered feeling helpless, vulnerable, afraid. The Empire's propaganda tried to minimize it. They called it a lucky strike. Surprise attack. They promised it would never happen again. But everyone knew the truth. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted. Humanity was no longer the weak newcomer. They were a force to be reckoned with. In the council chambers, species that had ignored Earth now sent diplomats to negotiate. They offered technology, resources, and alliances. They wanted to be on humanity's good side. Some did it out of greed, hoping to gain access to human stealth technology. Others did it out of fear, hoping to avoid Earth's weapons. A few did it out of genuine respect, finally seeing humanity for what it truly was. Back on Earth, in a small apartment in New Sol, a mother held her daughter. The colony had been saved from the Veltran invasion. They were safe because of the retribution, because of Captain Jawan Park and his crew, because humanity had been preparing for this day. Mommy, the little girl asked, are the bad aliens gone? Yes, sweetheart. Her mother said, they are gone and they will not come back, because brave people protect us, because Earth is strong. The little girl smiled and went to sleep, feeling safe. Across the galaxy, that same feeling spread. Human colonies no longer feared attack. Human traders no longer worried about pirates. Human diplomats no longer faced mockery. Earth had sent a message to the galaxy, a message that was heard clearly by everyone. Do not mistake our desire for peace as inability to wage war. Do not mistake our patience as weakness. Do not mistake our silence as ignorance. We are humanity. We survived ice ages, world wars, and nuclear weapons. We climbed from caves to the stars. We are builders and creators. Yes, but when pushed, when threatened, when given no other choice, we are also warriors, and we are very, very good at it. Ambassador Nari Park stood on the council floor, looking out at the assembled species. She thought about the journey that had brought them here, the insults, the threats, the moment, the retribution. Decloaked above Velar Prime, the shock, the fear, the change. She had one more thing to say, one more message to deliver. Earth looks forward to working with all of you, she said. We hope for friendship, for cooperation, for a brighter future together. But remember this day. Remember what happened when you mocked us, when you threatened us, when you underestimated us. She paused. Let the words sink in. Remember it and choose wisely how you treat us in the future. The council session ended. Nari walked out, came in beside her. Behind her, the aliens whispered among themselves. The galaxy had changed. New power had emerged, not through conquest, not through aggression, but through preparation, innovation, and the willingness to show strength when necessary. Humanity had joined the Galactic Council, not as children asking for protection, not as supplicants begging for scraps, but as equals, as partners, as a species that commanded respect.